Is the worst case of bad parenting you have ever seen. 1. I once had a student whose life was permanently fucked by having experienced traumatic brain injury. The day-to-day result of the injury was the kid's inability to self-censor. Literally spoke aloud any thought that entered their head. Imagine the impact that would have on your life. Think about now many people could possibly tolerate you for any length of time. How did the kid get this? The tather kicked the child in the head repeatedly. Why? Because the kid tried to stop the father from beating the mother to death in front of the kid. 2. When I was 15 I went to Honduras to paint a school and do some communitary work. One day, when I was painting, there was a little girl who peed herself in the class where I was. The teacher slapped her and went immediately to call the mother of the girl. A few minutes later the mother entered. With a ruler, she slapped her daughter several times until she, the little girl, vomited because of the pain. The mother then slapped her again because of the mess she did. The worst part is that we couldn't do anything because we were told that if this kind of stuff happened and we try to solve it, we could go to jail. 3. I was a lifeguard and one day I decided to get to my first rotation of the day early. It turns out as I was approaching the pool someone screamed that there was a child who was at the bottom of the pool who was unresponsive. I immediately went to action, administered CPR and before I put the AED on she showed signs of life. It turns out that the parents just left their 6-year-old at the pool alone knowing she couldn't swim. But wait, it gets better. The parents started yelling at me because apparently it was my fault that she couldn't swim. Dicks. 4. There was an alcoholic walking with his son and daughter. The little girl was maybe 5, really thin and covered in bruises. The little boy was about 7-8. The drunk of a father was shuffling along with a gallon of milk in his hand. He shoved the gallon's jug in the girl's arms and she almost toppled over. He gave her a look that froze the little girl solid and she picked herself up and said, "It's heavy and I can't." To which her father said, "Life is hard. Deal with it. You want to drink milk? You have to earn it." So the little boy grabs the jug and carries it for his sister. I hate to know what happened to him when they got home. I'd hope the father got shit-faced and passed out in a toilet. 5. I work in an arena, so I see a lot of bad parenting in action. My favorite is this couple that used to come for pee-wee hockey. They had 2 kids, one playing hockey and the other, a little girl who was around 7 years old. The mom would just dump the kid off and hand the 7-year-old over to daddy to hide and chat with her friends. This guy was one of the weakest, most defeated excuses for a man. This 7-year-old terror would do nothing but scream, throw tantrums, physically and mentally abuse her father. He just sat there and took it with one of the most depressed looks on his face. Every now and then he would have enough and tell her she was upsetting him and being hurtful. One time, she responded to this by slapping him in the face, which shut him up. This dude was legitimately pimp slapped by his 7-year-old daughter.